You really gonna sit there all day? Grandpa, this ain't a museum. The voice rang out from across the skate park. It belonged to a lanky teenager named Jaden, barely 16. Baseball cap turned backwards, phone out and already recording. His friends chuckled, nudging each other as their laughter bounced off the concrete. Sitting silently on the edge of a wooden bench near the ramps was a weathered old man in a faded black jacket. His silver beard was neatly trimmed, his posture straight, yet relaxed like a lion that had no need to growl. He had no skateboard, no phone, and clearly didn't belong among the brightly dressed kids with loud music and even louder attitudes. "I think he's lost or something," said Malik, another teen in an oversized hoodie. "Yo, maybe he's scouting for a retirement home with a skate ramp." The laughter grew louder. Phones pointed. TikTok fodder. The old man said nothing. He just looked at them with eyes that held storms. He watched the boys like he had seen thousands just like them. And more. Jaden, emboldened, strutted over. "You deaf or just slow? Ain't nobody want to see your wrinkly butt creeping at the skate park." The old man raised an eyebrow. "I'm just waiting," he said, voice calm, deep, not defensive like someone who didn't care what these kids thought. "You'll understand one day." That irritated Jaden. The condescension, or what he thought was condescension, stung. He waved his phone in the man's face. "What's that supposed to mean, huh? You one of those crazy ex-cops that couldn't retire quiet? Or maybe you think you're still tough?" A few kids howled with laughter. The old man didn't answer. He simply turned his eyes toward the sky for a moment. It was a warm afternoon. Light breeze. Clear blue, perfect for pretending the world didn't burn beyond your bubble. Jaden, annoyed. He wasn't getting more reaction. Spat near the man's feet. Malik added, "Yo, maybe he was in the army, back in like 1864 or some etch. Watch it," the old man said. The command in his voice cut like a whip. Not loud, but precise. Instant silence. Jaden blinked. "What?" I said. "Watch your mouth." For a second, the teens weren't sure if they heard it right. The air felt different. Then came the bravado. "Oh, you want to go, old man?" Jaden stepped closer, puffing his chest. "What you gonna do? Call the nurse? Gonna swing your cane?" The old man stood, and everything changed. He wasn't just tall. He was present. His movements were smooth, exact. His eyes had gone from distant to razor sharp. The kids backed up instinctively. No threat had been made. But it was there, in the way he moved. Controlled power. "Tell you what," the man said, voice still low, measured, almost bored. "Why don't we play a game?" Jaden scoffed. "Game?" The old man pulled a tennis ball from his jacket pocket, oddly out of place. "Simple game. You get past me. One move. Just tag me on the shoulder, and I'll leave. But if I tag you, you shut up and sit down." Jaden glanced at his friends. "Seriously? You're challenging me to tag?" Laughter. "I ain't touching your dusty shoulders, man. That's weird." The old man tossed the ball in the air, caught it. Jaden shrugged. "Cocky as ever. Fine, let's play. I ain't scared of you." He lunged forward. It was over in a second. Jaden wasn't sure what happened. One moment, he was reaching for the man's shoulder. The next, he was spinning in the air, his legs swept from under him so fast the motion was a blur, and then he was flat on the ground with the old man, holding the tennis ball against his chest. Silence. Phone stopped recording. Malik gasped, "Yo, what the hell?" Jaden scrambled up, furious and embarrassed. "That was a trip. You tripped me." "No," the old man said. "That was control." Jaden charged again. This time, the old man spun, stepped, and tapped Jaden lightly on the forehead with the ball before stepping out of range. Jaden fell forward, momentum wasted, nearly crashing into his friends. Now there was no laughter, just awe, confusion, and fear. "Who are you?" Malik muttered. The man turned and walked back to the bench, sat, tossed the ball up and down again. Jaden stared, breathing heavy. "You cheated, old man. That ain't normal. I trained men," the old man said finally, "to face worse than anything you'll ever see." Jaden spat again. "Yeah, like what?" "Like rooms full of armed kidnappers. Buildings with hostages. tight corners, explosives strapped to doors, night vision, gas masks, real fear. Now the teens were paying attention. You trained. Who? Jaden said slowly. The man looked up at him. SWAT. For 30 years. Gasps. The name came in whispers. No way. You. For real. The man reached into his jacket again, and this time pulled out something heavier. A badge. Old but polished. It had an emblem. Not just any emblem, special weapons and tactics. A different division number, engraved name. Marcus Hale, he said, retired, but not erased. Jaden felt his chest tighten. The others were backing away slowly, unsure if they should apologize or run. You really were SWAT? No, Marcus said. I wasn't in SWAT. I made SWAT better. He stood again, walked toward them, not menacing teaching. I trained sharpshooters to breathe under pressure. I taught room clearing to rookies. I built obstacle courses that made Navy SEALs sweat. And every year, I buried someone who didn't listen fast enough. Jaden's mouth opened, then closed. I watched cocky men die because they thought speed beat skill. I taught their replacements to respect the silence. Marcus looked at each teen in the eye, and they couldn't look back for long. You kids play at war in your games, but war doesn't wait, and it sure as hell doesn't care if you're tough on TikTok. Malik whispered. Why are you here then? At a skate park. Marcus turned and gestured toward a small figure hiding behind a ramp. A girl, maybe 10, helmet on, gripping her skateboard nervously. My granddaughter, he said. She's learning to skate. I told her I'd be here. Always. Now it made sense. Why he sat so still. Why he watched. She's scared of falling, he added. But I told her falling is fine. As long as you get up smarter. Jaden swallowed hard. I didn't know, he muttered. I thought you were just loitering. Marcus's eyes softened. You saw what you wanted to see. Now see more. One of the kids stepped forward. Hesitantly, sir, would you show us? Like not the fight stuff. Just how to be like that. Marcus paused, then nodded. Line up. And that's how the skate park turned into something else entirely. Not a playground, not a battleground, a classroom. The next hour was a blur of balance, drills, breath control, body movement. Marcus taught them how to move not just physically, but with purpose. He showed them how to observe surroundings, how to stay centered. Every tap of the tennis ball now meant awareness, not humiliation. The girl, his granddaughter, came out, watching her grandpa command a group of boys twice her age. She smiled, rolled her board toward the ramp, and tried again. This time, she didn't fall. That night, the video Jaden uploaded didn't show Marcus being mocked. It showed him moving, gracefully, swiftly, calmly. It showed a caption. We thought he was nobody. Turns out he trained the people who protect everybody. The views soared. But Marcus never cared about views. He only cared that the next generation knew true strength isn't loud. And warriors don't always wear armor sometimes. They wear old jackets and carry tennis balls. That night, after the video had gone viral, and comments flooded in half in disbelief, half in admiration, Marcus Hale sat quietly in his one-bedroom apartment just outside the city. The TV was on, but he wasn't watching. He had seen too much to be impressed by bright lights or social media. A gentle knock came at the door. He stood, joints cracking like old wood, and opened it. Jaden stood there, out of breath, holding a brown paper bag. Marcus raised an eyebrow. You walk all the way from the skate park? Bus, Jaden said, and some running. I brought something. He handed the bag over. Marcus peered inside. Apple pie, from Rudy's diner. I asked your granddaughter what you liked, Jaden added sheepishly. Marcus gave a faint smile. She talked too much. Jaden chuckled nervously. She talks just enough. They sat on the porch in silence for a while. No need for music or screens. Just streetlights flickering and the soft hum of wind. You really trained all those guys? Jaden asked, not looking at him. Yes. You ever kill anyone? Marcus took a breath. I taught people to avoid killing. Doesn't mean they always could. Jaden went quiet. Marcus continued. I've seen men freeze in doorways, panic. I've seen guys who thought they were tough break down in tears before we breached a building. Jaden nodded slowly. I used to think being a man was about showing off. It's not, Marcus said. It's about showing up. Another pause. Jaden looked down. I didn't have a dad around much. Mom works all day. Sometimes 2 jobs, I guess. I act out, try to feel big. Marcus nodded, slowly. Pain makes people loud. Discipline makes them steady. Jaden rubbed his eyes. I was a jerk today. I didn't just disrespect you. I disrespected what you've seen, what you've done. Marcus looked at him. Respect isn't in your words, son. It's in what you do next. Jaden nodded. Then, from inside, came a soft voice. Grandpa. His granddaughter peeked out. Can Jaden stay for dinner? Marcus looked at Jaden, then back at her. Only if he washes the dishes. Jaden laughed. Deal. The next day, something incredible happened. Marcus returned to the park, not out of habit, but because the boys had asked him to. This time, it wasn't just Jaden and Malik. There were others, 10 of them, then 15, then 20. No boards this time, just sneakers, curiosity, and humility. He didn't preach. He trained, feet apart, shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes, breathe. What do you hear? Awareness isn't just eyes, it's instinct. And instinct is trained. He ran them through simple drills, turning corners without losing footing, reacting to sudden sound, reading body language. One kid, Hector, couldn't stop fidgeting. Marcus pulled him aside. You ever been hit before a fight started? Yeah, because you weren't paying attention. You move too much. You think movement is alertness. It's not. It's waste. Hector swallowed hard. Stillness, Marcus said. Stillness is power. The boys began to change. Jaden stopped recording. He started noticing. Instead of mocking strangers, he watched how they walked, what they held, where their eyes moved. Malik started waking up early, stretching, running. Not to impress anyone, but because something in him shifted. They weren't perfect. They still cursed. Still joked too much. But when Marcus raised an eyebrow, they caught themselves. They were learning. One afternoon, 2 weeks later, a squad car pulled up to the edge of the skate park. The boys froze. Instinctively uneasy, a female officer stepped out. Blonde-eyed, tall, late 30s. She looked around, curious, looking for someone. Marcus asked from the bench. She grinned. Looking for you. He stood, shook her hand. Sergeant Mendez. We served together in Phoenix, she explained to the boys. This man used to run drills that made Marines weep. The teens stared. Mendez turned to them. You kids have any idea how lucky you are? This guy once trained the hostage rescue team that stopped a school shooting in Colorado. And he doesn't brag. He just shows up. Marcus shrugged. I hate paperwork, so I came here. Mendez laughed. Jaden piped up. He's kinda our coach now. Mendez smiled. Then you boys are in better hands than most precincts. Before she left, she handed Marcus a folder. We're starting a youth tactical program in the city. They want you. Volunteer. Train the next wave. Marcus hesitated. Jaden nudged him. You should do it, sir. Thought I already had my hands full with you. Jaden grinned. We'll still be your crew. Weeks turned into months. The program launched. Marcus became its heart. Dozens of teens signed up, some from broken homes, some from privileged ones, all hungry to learn how to be more than just another statistic. He didn't just teach tactics, he taught honor. One day, as part of a surprise exercise, Marcus set up a hostage rescue simulation in a condemned building, complete with sound effects, smoke machines, and timed lights. Jaden led the team. They cleared rooms with precision, communicated with hand signals. When they found the hostage, a dummy strapped to a ticking timer, they defused it with seconds to spare. As they came out, sweating, gasping, Marcus clapped once. You're not boys anymore, he said. You're protectors. Then came the real test. A nearby school received a threat, not a drill, a real call-in, unverified but dangerous. Police locked down the building. Jaden and the others were outside, helping guide traffic, calm panicked parents, not because anyone told them to, but because Marcus had taught them leadership meant stepping up, not waiting for permission. No one was hurt. The threat was false. But the mayor saw them in action, and soon. The program wasn't just a pilot, it was policy. At a citywide ceremony 6 months later, Marcus Hale stood on a stage beside his former SWAT comrades, community leaders, and dozens of teenagers who once mocked him but now stood tall, shoulders back. Jaden took the mic. This man changed our lives, not by yelling, not by flexing, but by showing us what strength really is. He made us better men, better people. Applause. Marcus stepped forward, gripping the edges of the podium like it was a rifle he'd held for years. I was once asked if retirement meant rest. I said no. Rest is what you earn after the work is done, and my work isn't done. If I can help one boy sit taller, breathe deeper, walk straighter, then I've earned one more day. He paused. To every kid out there who thinks the world doesn't see them, I see you. Be silent, be steady. Be the wall others lean on, not the noise they run from. Tears, cheers, pride. Jaden walked beside him after the event. I owe you everything, he said. Marcus smiled. You owe me nothing. Just pass it on, Jaden asked. You think I could ever be like you? Marcus chuckled. No, Jaden frowned. You'll be better. They walked into the dusk. No cameras, no applause, just purpose. The world hadn't changed overnight, but in one city on one park bench, it had started with a mockery and ended with a legacy. Months rolled into a year. Jaden, once the loudest voice mocking the old man on the bench, now wore a navy blue shirt embroidered with Youth Tactical Corps across the back. He helped lead drills under Marcus's quiet supervision. The skate park had changed too. It had become a training ground, half ramp, half readiness course. Parents felt safe letting their kids hang out there now. Officers occasionally dropped by to assist. What used to be a scene of chaos and trash talk had become something remarkable. Yet Marcus had grown quieter in recent days. Jaden noticed. You okay, Coach? He asked one evening. After most of the kids had cleared out, Marcus was sitting in his usual spot, tossing that same tennis ball into the air. I'm tired, he said simply. Jaden sat beside him. Need a break? No, Marcus replied, eyes fixed on the clouds glowing orange with the setting sun. Just thinking. Jaden waited. Marcus finally said, I spent most of my life preparing others for danger. But you know what scares me most now? Jaden shook his head. Time, Marcus whispered. Not because it runs out, but because we waste it, thinking there's always more. Jaden looked down. I wasted time too, he admitted, acting tough, looking for a fight. But then you showed up. Marcus turned, gave him that familiar look, part iron, part warmth. No, I didn't show up. You opened up. That's harder. There was silence between them, but not the kind that hurts. The kind that heals. Then came a moment that none of them expected. A group of masked teens entered a corner store one afternoon, just 2 blocks from the skate park. One had a fake gun. The cashier panicked, triggering a silent alarm. The police were minutes away. Jaden, Malik, and Hector were across the street, running drills near the training yard. Jaden saw them, the way they moved, the way the lookout fidgeted by the door. He didn't hesitate. Call it in, he told Malik. Now, he approached slowly, not as a hero, but as someone who had been prepared. The lookout saw him coming. Back off, man. You don't want none of this. Jaden raised his hands calmly. You don't either. Cops are coming, you lying no. I've seen what happens when panic leads. You do not want this to be what defines your life. Inside, the masked kids were yelling, but they weren't hardened criminals, just scared, young, like Jaden had been. He stepped to the door. Marcus's voice echoed in his head. Stillness is power. So he breathed. He stayed calm, and the cashier saw his face, recognized him, trusted him. Slowly, she nodded and ducked behind the counter. Jaden spoke through the door. You have 60 seconds before they come in with real weapons. End it now and walk out alive. A tense silence. Then a soft voice from inside. We didn't mean to, we just needed cash. Jaden nodded. I know. But this ain't the way. Don't let fear choose for you. 30 seconds later, the boys came out, hands up. Jaden stepped back. Police arrived seconds later. No one hurt, no weapons drawn, just resolve, and one young man who had once been the loudest, now the strongest. The mayor gave Jaden a commendation the following week. Cameras flashed. Reporters asked endless questions. But Jaden kept the speech short. I didn't save anyone. I just used what I was given. And what I was given was Marcus Hale. The crowd erupted. That night, Marcus sat quietly in the back row of the town hall. He didn't wave, didn't stand. But Jaden saw him. Afterward, they met outside. You didn't have to come. Jaden said, I wouldn't miss it. Marcus replied, not for the world. Jaden hesitated. You proud of me? Marcus looked at him like a father would his son. No. Jaden's heart sank. I'm grateful for you. Marcus said softly. Proud is something you say to boys. Grateful, that's for men. Jaden's eyes burned. They hugged, not like teacher and student, like family, but time waits for no one. 3 months later, Marcus didn't show up for the morning drill. Jaden called. No answer. He rode his bike across town and knocked on the apartment door. It was unlocked. Marcus lay in his chair, blanket pulled to his chest, tennis ball still in one hand, eyes closed, peaceful, gone. Jaden didn't cry, not at first. He stood still, remembering every lesson, every drill, every time Marcus told him that stillness was not weakness. Then he took the tennis ball and whispered, I'll carry it from here. The funeral was packed. Officers, cadets, former SWAT members, teens who had once been vandals, now mentors. His granddaughter, dawed in a black dress, holding a board with her grandpa's photo. Jaden spoke last. This man didn't need a gun to be powerful. He didn't need medals to be honored. He just needed his voice, his silence, and that damn tennis ball. Laughter. Then tears. Marcus Hale was mocked, ignored, laughed at by punks like me, and yet he trained warriors. He turned noise into purpose. He turned me into someone worth looking up to. He held up the tennis ball. He said, true strength is quiet. Well now, I hear that silence everywhere, and I'll never let it fade. He placed the ball on the casket. A year later, the city named the skate park Hale Tactical Youth Park. His image etched in metal sits at the edge of the ramp, not in full uniform, but in his jacket, sitting, watching, still. Every day, kids walk past that statue, not knowing the full story, just that something changed when he sat there. Jaden still trains every weekend, still wears the navy shirt, still carries the ball, and every time a new kid mocks the process or rolls his eyes, Jaden doesn't get mad. He smiles and says, you'll understand one day, just like Marcus said. And that's how legacies are built, not in the noise, but in the silence that follows.